Okay, boys and girls, today's project is cleaning out a dryer vent. So we're staring at the outside of the dryer vent, and you can also see on the ground there's a lot of lint. Yeah, this comes out, gets mixed up with the mulch, and you're going to have lint coming out. You're better off to have lint coming out than staying in here and creating a fire. You can see on the cover here, there's some lint that got balled up here, and you just want to, maintenance every once in a while. It doesn't look that bad in there, but I just got back from helping at another house where we ordered an expandable brush, basically, that can go in there and clean that all out. Now, you can pay for somebody to come and clean your dryer vents, but why not do it yourself? So we're outside here on the outside of the house. On the other side of this wall here is just our garage. And so that vent comes all the way along the garage here to that door, and the dryer's right on the other side of the door. So this length is less than 20 feet. Now, of course, it's in the crawl space. I'm going to show you inside now, because on the other side of this door is our laundry room. So we're really only going the length of the garage. But the dryer sits in here. I'll remove some stuff out of the way. But the dryer has a vent that's going to go, and it connects, in this particular case, kind of through a couple elbows and goes into the wall and kind of down at the same time. So we're going to disconnect that back hose, pull the dryer out of the way, and then we're going to start using this dryer vent cleaning brush. So the way that this is packaged, and you can see that I've already used it once because some of the bristles are kind of bent from being used, but they'll still clean. So it's basically just a head and a whole bunch of different rods that you can connect as you go. And they give you a fitting at the back end that you can put into your drill. I actually used this already, and I didn't use this piece. That fits better in like your impact wrench or impact drill. But you can also just with a regular drill, just clamp onto this, and as long as you're not clamping too hard, you're not going to damage it. And as this piece goes in, I think these are close to 20 inches. That'll go in around those bends, and it's flexible as long as you keep spinning it clockwise to the right. Otherwise, it could unscrew. So you want to keep it always going clockwise and pull it in and out and clean everything off. And as you get further and further, you just add another piece. Take your drill off this end, screw on another piece, and keep going. The only danger is you don't want to get it too long that it's going all the way outside and then starting to wrap on top of itself. You can see I have a piece here. That's exactly what happened. I kept adding pieces. I thought it was going to come out a specific vent, and that particular dryer vent was coming out of the ground in a PVC pipe, and I didn't realize it on the side of the house. And this tangled all on top of itself. It came and got all twisted, and it bent that piece. So, I mean, you could use that maybe as your last one. Maybe you can rebend it, but that's one that's been compromised now. So I'm going to take this off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now I've disconnected the dryer vent, or the dryer, and you can see I've just pulled it out of the way here so I have room to work. And you can also see that I have a nice pile of lint sitting here already, just from this joint here where it was connecting. So one of the things you're going to want to do is on the back side of your dryer, I'm going to pull this off too. You see I have some tape there that was hiding or not hiding, but covering the clamp that I had. But you'll want to take a look in here. This one isn't that bad. You can kind of see down there. There's not a lot of lint stuck in this. And this is a corrugated pipe, so it's flexible. And that certainly, the clamp wasn't on there as tight as I thought. I didn't even try to unscrew it. So you can see some lint down the bottom here. Just want to clean up everything. They make long brushes, and I actually have one here. Long brushes like this that can go inside your dryer. You can kind of go in there too. You can run that vent brush inside here as well and try to pull stuff out. Use a shop vac in there. But the main point that we're going to do here is start putting those expandable rods through here to clean this all out, going all the way to the outside. So I'm going to set up the camera so we can do a time lapse and show you that. And it'll probably get a little dusty. Okay, what I've got set up here now, I've got the camera set up. I'll tilt it a little more to see it, but I wanted to show you this. So this is the head, and each one of these rods is about 16 inches. So I have them grouped here. I measured outside, and I've got to go about 14 feet. So 16 inches times 3 is going to give you 48. So that's 4 feet. So every grouping of 3 is 4 feet. So I have 4 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet. And I think I need 14. So I'm definitely going to go through all these, and then I'm going to stop and see. I should be able to see it from outside. So at least that gives you an estimate of how many you're going to use. You can see I have a lot more that I can go from in here, but I probably only need 1 or 2 more after I get through all of these. All right. So let's get started. And don't let this, this is a gas line that was put in. I'm actually running an electric, and this is just capped off because if and when my dryer goes, I am going to convert to gas. But right now, don't pay attention to that. But if you needed to disconnect your dryer from the gas line, that's going to be a little more involved, and make sure you don't have a leak. So these are flexible gas lines, so you should be able to pull it out enough to get at your vent without having to actually disconnect your vent or your gas line. All right, as I said before, I don't use that bit. You can see here that I've just clamped this outside collar right into my drill chuck. And again, as long as you keep going clockwise, you're not going to have a problem with that. So here we go. We're going to start. Okay, now we're going to go outside and see if we can see where it is. So we've gotten about 12 feet, so we should really only be about 2 feet from the end. Let's go check it out. All right, we have a stick propping up our vent, and you can't really see the head of it. But what I am starting to see, and I can't get a good picture, I'm starting to see a lot of lint that's coming out. So I think we're close, and we just can't get this to focus. There, now you can see it a little bit better. You see all the lint that's piled up inside there. So we'll add 2 more sections and we should be out. And then we'll come back out here and take another look. One of the things you might have noticed is that as I was pushing in, I was going back and forth. Again, just to kind of work the brush so that it's spinning around and going back and forth to pull and push that stuff and make it loose. And even if you don't get it all out by pushing it out, the air, now that stuff is not connected to the sidewalls, and the air will push it out. The other thing you can do is you can hook up a leaf blower here, which I probably have enough room, I might do. And you can put some tape around that vent, put your leaf blower through it, and then you can blow out the rest of the remnants of the lint. instead of relying on the dryer to do it, because it might not be as powerful as a leaf blower. So I'm going to go 2 more sections since we didn't see it come out, and then we should be out by then and not be tangled up. Okay, that's 2 more sections. So now let's go back outside and see what we can see. Actually, I'll just keep recording so we can see whether or not we got all the way out. I definitely saw a lot of debris, and I'm hoping that I see it sitting out here now. Oh, and there you see the head of it came out, which sometimes can make it difficult to pull back in if it's not going to go in right. So now you see those 2 extra sections. I probably could have done 1 and it would have just been there. And what a pile of lint that we have here. That's pretty significant. You don't want that to all build up and stay in there, and then you've got a risk of a fire because it can't come out. Even some kind of stringy thing. So now what we can do is we can just disconnect this head and pull it back through, and then I'll hook up my leaf blower. We'll see what else we get out of there. Clean off the other side and put it all back together. All right, now you're going to see me pulling this back through. I'm not worried about going back and forth. I'm just going to pull it out. And what I've actually done was taken the head off on the outside, so it just comes through. I don't really want to pull all that stuff back in here. I just want to pull that out. I'll hook up my shop vac, or not my shop vac. You can do a shop vac to get some of that out from inside there too, but my leaf blower. I'll put my leaf blower in it, and I brought in what I ended up coming out. So look at all that was stuck in there, including some piece of kind of like an elastic band of some type. So that's not going to be helpful to make. You need to make sure stuff like that isn't staying in your dryer vent. So I consider this a win already, just to get all that out of there. And all the other loose stuff I blow out with the shop vac will be even better. Might actually, I'll try to film it, have my daughter hold the trigger here, and then I'll go out and see what comes out, if anything. So now you'll just see me pulling it through, disconnecting it. And since there's a lot of torque on these, probably best to get 2 pair of pliers, so that as you pull out a joint, you can grab both sides of it and pull it apart. Get a nice firm grip on both sides to disconnect it. One thing to note, you still want to go in clockwise order, because you don't want this to unscrew as you're pulling it back. That might be the tendency, is go counterclockwise, like you would with a drill bit. But here you want to keep it going so that you don't lose a piece in there. That would be really painful to try to get it out. And you might have seen that it was hesitating sometimes when I was going back and forth, because those little metal bands, I think, were catching on some of these joints. So you just kind of have to move it around a little bit and work it. Don't try to force it too much, or you'll end up having a whole different kind of problem. Okay, so that's all removed now, and we're going to hook up a leaf blower to this, tape it so it's nice and sealed, and try to blow out any remaining stuff. Okay, so now you see I have my leaf blower sitting on top of my lamp, and you can see that I have it inside the ductwork, and I have duct tape around it. So I'm going to ask my daughter to pull the trigger. I'm going to go outside and let's see what else comes out. Okay, we're here waiting for the button to be pressed. I'm going to give the signal. Whoa, that was a lot more than I expected. Look at all that loose stuff. You can even kind of see the cloud that it created. Shot it pretty far. All right, that's definitely a win. All right, so project is complete. Dryer's put back. You can see that I kind of moved the gas line out of the way a little bit. And there's not a ton of room for the vent, but it's in there as good as it can go. And you can see I put some duct tape around those two seams just to prevent airflow, any air coming into the inside space here. So I'd say in all it took about an hour, but the majority of the time was manipulating the dryer and getting enough space. You know, in a small laundry room, you don't have a lot of space to work when you're putting a vent, taking a vent off and putting the ductwork on the dryer. So that's always the tightest spot, trying to get in there with little screwdrivers and little hands. All right, so that's a wrap. I definitely would recommend this dryer vent cleaning brush. Had a whole bunch of rods in there, certainly enough for my, I forget if it was, can't see if it says on there, it might have been like 25 feet or so, but I only needed about 14. But I feel safer knowing that all that lint isn't in my dryer vent now.